All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are absolutely jumping right into a story that is quite literally shaking the foundations of international football. Normally, when a team loses a big match, they complain to the cameras, maybe blame the referee, and then pack their bags and head home. But what we're looking at today? Yeah, this is definitely not your standard post-match whining. This has rapidly escalated into a high-stakes legal thriller involving the world's largest sporting body.
Okay, let's dive into this because the tone for this entire crisis was set the very second the final whistle blew, with this explosive accusation from the Egyptian coach, Hossam Hassan. I mean, he did not mince words, flat out stating to the global press that the match was rigged, and his players echoed that exact same sentiment. Now, whether or not you buy into a single word of that conspiracy, the sheer fact that a national team coach is saying this on the world stage, that means the accusation itself has become an unignorable crisis. And things escalated fast. The very next morning, less than 24 hours after crashing out of the tournament to Argentina, Egypt took a completely unprecedented step. The Egyptian Football Association didn't just grumble, they filed official legal paperwork. They formally dragged FIFA in front of its own tribunal. And they didn't just ask for a polite investigation either. They officially demanded the complete removal of French referee François Letexier and his entire officiating crew from the rest of the World Cup. So just like that, a simple complaint transformed into an aggressive legal mission statement.
Section 1. The 11-minute collapse.
To really understand why Egypt took this absolute nuclear option, we need to look at exactly what went down on the pitch. Let's walk through the sequence chronologically. First, Egypt was leading 1-0, and in this 79th minute, Zico finishes off this stunning move to make it 2-0. It feels like game over, right? But then step 2 happens. The video assistant referee, VAR, rewinds roughly 17 to 20 seconds to the completely opposite end of the pitch. They spot a shirt tug and a stepped-on toe by Marwan Attia, and just like that, the goal is deleted. Fast forward to step 3. We are in stoppage time. The score is level, and Egypt is screaming for a foul in the Argentina box. A shirt pull on Hamdi Fati, and a massive tangle involving Mohamed Salah. This time, VAR doesn't even recommend a look. And finally, step 4. Argentina immediately breaks up the other end and scores the winner. From a historic victory to a devastating defeat in a matter of moments. And this brilliantly illustrates the glaring double standard right at the heart of Egypt's legal complaint. On one hand, VAR intervenes aggressively, literally scrolling back 20 seconds to find a foul in the buildup. But on the other hand, VAR remains completely silent during a massive penalty shout in the final dying moments of the game. EFA President Hany Aborida heavily protested this exact discrepancy, and frankly, he argued it fundamentally altered the entire outcome of the match.
Section 2. The Wall of Evidence. What makes this genuinely dangerous for FIFA is that Egypt isn't just standing alone in a corner shouting wild accusations. They are standing in front of a wall of neutral, incredibly respected voices. Listen to English football legend Alan Shearer. He completely hit the nail on the head, saying that either both are fouls or neither is. And he wasn't alone here. Pundits like Wright explicitly stated that if you pull play back to disallow Egypt's goal, you absolutely have to pull it back for the Salah incident too. Jamie Carragher even pointed out that in any major European league, Egypt's goal would have stood. We are talking about independent experts with absolutely zero dog in this fight, all pointing at the exact same contradictions.
But it wasn't just English pundits. Even a neutral German referee, Patrick Ittrich, publicly analyzed the game. He flatly stated that the late challenge on Salah was a penalty. But what's absolutely crucial here is his observation that every single contentious 50-50 call in that match went against Egypt and in favor of Argentina. When an active, neutral referee is publicly validating a federation's anger, well, it stops looking like sour grapes and starts looking like a highly legitimate case.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds into a systemic crisis. You see, Egypt's complaint didn't just land on an empty desk at FIFA headquarters. This has rapidly become the most complained about tournament in recent memory. We've got Belgium filing a formal grievance over a red card reversal, Ecuador protesting a lack of fair play after fans literally besieged their hotel with fireworks, Iran protesting oppressive cross-border travel restrictions that exhausted their squad, and now Egypt, fighting this VAR double standard. We are looking at 4 different nations with 4 very different grievances, all pointing at the exact same governing body inside a single tournament. That indicates a systemic pattern, not just some isolated streak of bad luck. And sitting underneath all of this, the thing that really blew the doors off the tournament's integrity to begin with, is this catalyst. Earlier in the competition, the President of the United States personally phoned FIFA. Shortly after that call, a red card suspension was quietly lifted using a disciplinary clause that had never, ever been used at a World Cup before. That single, totally unprecedented action essentially detonated FIFA's credibility. It created a massive crater of mistrust. And because of that, every single controversy since, including Egypt's, is viewed through a lens of extreme suspicion.
Section 4. FIFA comes out swinging. Now, you cannot receive a formal complaint demanding the removal of your officials and just pretend it didn't happen. FIFA's chief refereeing officer, Pierluigi Collina, broke cover. But he didn't announce an inquiry. He came out swinging. Impartially speaking, if you look at the cold letter of the law, he actually presents a defensible case. He pointed out there's no time limit on VAR in the attacking phase, meaning that 20-second rewind? Completely legal. He noted Atia genuinely did step on Martinez's foot, which is a foul. He categorized the Salah incident as just normal football contact. He adamantly denied that the FIFA president influences referees in any way. And, very crucially, he warned against the very real, very vile online threats that referees and their families face. Which is the serious point we have to acknowledge. That kind of abuse is completely unacceptable, regardless of the sporting context. Now, what's really interesting about this is the glaring structural contradiction in Collina's press release. On one hand, he opens by stating this grand principle that FIFA prefers not to focus on specific incidents during an active competition. But then, his actual action? He spends the rest of the entire statement walking through the two specific Egyptian incidents frame by frame, just to justify why the referee was right. I mean, you don't decline to comment on a case and then immediately argue the case, unless your goal isn't neutrality, but rather delivering a verdict dressed up as a principle.
Section 5. The impossible catch-22. Egypt has effectively forced FIFA into a corner where every single exit door is locked. This is the core logic trap, the impossible catch-22. Look at option A. FIFA clears the officials completely. Given the public's existing mistrust after that U.S. president's phone call, this just looks like a blatant cover-up. Giving them a clean bill of health convinces absolutely no one. But then look at option B. FIFA sides with Egypt and drops the referees. Doing that is a tacit, unwritten admission that the officiating was indeed fundamentally flawed. It officially validates every single conspiracy theory, meaning FIFA would be confessing that a World Cup quarterfinalist advanced on undefendable decisions. There is literally no middle ground here that magically rebuilds trust. So, what should we be watching for? Well, FIFA almost never publicly reprimands its referees. Instead, they use what we call a silent disappearance. We need to watch the referee assignment sheets for the upcoming quarterfinals, semifinals, the third-place game, and the final. If Francois Lexier's name silently vanishes from all of these upcoming assignments, that essentially acts as an unwritten, quiet admission of fault by FIFA.
Meanwhile, FIFA continues to unknowingly hand its critics even more ammunition. While dealing with all these massive accusations of favoring Argentina, FIFA went ahead and appointed an entirely Argentinian officiating crew, led by Facundo Tello, to oversee the France versus Morocco quarterfinal. It's a massive optics crisis. It is so utterly tone-deaf that the integrity scandal has almost metastasized into a running joke. I mean, even the English FA was reportedly joking about appealing their own red cards, figuring, hey, if the rules can bend for one team, why not everyone?
But beneath the legal filings, the VAR rules, and the PR statements, we have to remember the human element, represented right here by this number, 11. Egypt is a fiercely football-obsessed nation. They are 7 times champions of Africa, but they had never reached a World Cup quarterfinal. They were exactly 11 minutes away from making history. To have that dream end, not by simply being outplayed, but undone by decisions that half the planet found highly suspicious, is a specific and lasting kind of heartbreak for an entire nation.
Which leaves us with this final, burning question. FIFA is sitting there holding a formal complaint it physically cannot answer honestly without either indicting its own officials or indicting itself. So, what will FIFA do next? Will they quietly bench the referee to appease the critics, or will they dig their heels in and clear everyone, risking a massive public relations fallout? Keep a very close eye on those upcoming referee team sheets, because how they handle this next step will absolutely define the credibility of global football for years to come. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time as we decode the next big story.